Hi, welcome back to part 3 of building this F-35B. This video will be assembling these 29 parts that build up basically the front end of the airplane, including the engine, the down one, the one that makes it hover. That's the front part anyway. All the cockpit, it's not all of the cockpit, it shouldn't advise fitting the instrument panel at this point. I have an aftermarket one and I've got the kit one. To be fair, I think the kit one's probably better, but we'll see. All the ductwork, canopy frame, or canopy top, or fuselage top if you like. Again, ductwork. It includes a front undercarriage leg, which you have to install at this point. I think you can fold it away and then kind of bring it down when it's ready to be put in that position. So let's get cracking with this. Okay, this is the cockpit. There's two control sticks this side, and there's something on this side here. This bit and this bit's glued to this assembly, and then you've got your foot pedals. I've glued all those in one place because painting them and then trying to glue them in after that would be a nightmare. So basically, and then you've got the bit at the back that goes there. That's the same colour. The colour it's calling out for is dark sea grey, which is XF54. But this does have some bits of colours picked out on it, that's why I'm not gluing it on at the time. These bits are black, that's rubber black, and this is black, and it's got another piece to fit on there, which goes in there, and that's also black as well. So I'm going to paint those two pieces now, dark sea grey. Right, this bit, which is this bit, it's got 3 colours on it. This back bit's semi-gloss black, rubber black on that, which is like a bag cover, I don't know what that is. It looks like there's some black on the top of here as well, which also complements this piece, it's also black. So I'm going to have to mask that off to paint that bit. I can do that by a brush. And then these little doofers, little round circles, they're also painted black. So yeah, let's get painting. Okay, a couple of little tricky bits to mask there. It shows on here, that's gloss, or basically X18, which is semi-gloss black, just in that area, which is that bit. And then you've got that bit, which is the backrest. So I'm just going to spray those up. Okay, that's all painted up. Really exciting, isn't it? Yeah, it's not the most, it's very minimalistic cockpit, is this. Now there are some decals to go on here now. There's one on this panel here, one on this side, one on that side, one over there as well. So that'll brighten things up a little bit. But I'm going to let that paint dry, and I'm going to give it a coat of satin varnish just to seal it all in, and then get the decals on, pick out the little bits of colour on the whatever these joysticks are and stuff. And that's the cockpit done really at that point, because the instrument panel goes in afterwards. Back it a bit. Right, okay, that's the cockpit done as far as this part of the build anyway, so far. Obviously the seats to go in later on, and the instrumentation goes in later on. I've put the decals on, they're just so thick they don't want to conform to anything, so it's had 3 sets of decal solution on there to get them to soften up. They're getting there. So, but that's got like a semi-gloss varnish on there at the moment. It's a bit too shiny, so I'm going to put it in the model. It fits just like that. 2 little pins at the back there, and 1 pin at the front, and that's it. And then voila, you've got a cockpit. Looks quite cool. Again, very spaceship like. So I'll get that fitted in, and I'm going to give it another coat of varnish. Okay, I'm building the instrumentation at the moment because it's not part of the build, but I think it's kind of part of the cockpit, and I want to build it anyway and put it in later, but I just think it's interesting to show it really. So you get 2 of these in the kit. This is the one I'm not using. I think it's probably because there's the A, B and C versions, and the only difference is it's subtle. It's very, very subtle indeed. There's some slightly different buttons on this panel here. To be fair, you're not going to see them much, but anyway, that's the one I'm not using. Now I did buy this, which is an aftermarket Edward cockpit screen, which is alright, but it doesn't match colour wise at all. It's too light, the grey is different, and I don't think it's all that cracking really. So what I did I've built the Tamiya one instead, and I think that looks a lot better than that does, personally. Now there's a few things you need to do to get this right, I think. When you put the decals on, you get more than one screen, by the way, because I think obviously this PlayStation screen that they seem to have in these things is going to show different things. So you can just choose which one you want, and I thought I went for that one because I don't know, just did. When you fit in the decals, with them being Tamiya decals, trying to get them to conform to these shapes, these lumps sticking out, these lumps here and these lumps or whatever, I cut them off. I didn't cut it all off, but I certainly cut the big lumpy bits off so that they'd fit on better, and they've conformed beautifully. They look great now, I think. And I also, these decals here are in one piece. That piece and that piece is one piece of decal, and so is that one there. And what I did, I cut them in half, and I cut every single piece of carrier film off them, so that they're as thin as possible, you know, so they didn't hang over the edges or anything like that. I did the same with the screen, and I did the same with this one here as well. And if you do that, they fit on great, and I think it looks really smart compared to the Edward one, which probably cost about £8. Rubbish. So there we go. Can I get this to focus? Right, and the screen just fits, well, the complete unit just pops in there like that. And I think it looks really nice. It looks, it's starting to look like a cockpit now. Trying to get it to focus on that thing. But yeah, again, it just fits effortlessly. The Edward one didn't fit quite as nice. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. The only thing I haven't fit in there is a seat, and I'm considering doing that. But I'm not going to fit that bit in anyway now because it doesn't show that part. And bear in mind, this model's going to have the canopy closed as well. Saying that, I'm going to try and make it so that the canopy will come on and off, just so you can see in here. So, back in a bit. Okay, that's the canopy just in place with its frame. You can see everything in there anyway. You don't need to take the canopy off to see in it. It's like a greenhouse. It's beautiful. And it's got a lovely smoked tint to it as well. So, yeah, it needs detailing as best you can, because you can see literally everything in there through that screen. Okay, I got the parts count wrong. It's not 29 parts, it's 30, because there's this little piece here, which is just there, which glues into the bottom of the undercarriage, just there. Right, progress on this. I've just painted everything white basically. Everything, because you might as well. I've started adding a little bit. There's very little detail with regards to colours on these, on the walls of the undercarriage base. There's just little tiny bits. I mean, I'm talking tiny. So I've picked those out appropriately. Not two bits there, look. But there are some decals on the sides, so I'm going to fit the decals and then I'll be back. But it just basically wants decals putting on it. The undercarriage leg does need some different colours though. That's got quite a few different colours on this bit, and that fits in there now. So it kind of folds away until you need to get it out, if you like. Painted up the undercarriage leg, and I've given it a coat of it's just a chrome pen for the oleo leg. It's extended on the aircraft in flight, so obviously there's no weight on the wheel. So that's painted up. I've glued these two halves together, having fitted the decals, and a little tiny bit of panel liner on that, and some decals on that side as well. And then there's this piece to go in as well, which fits just there. Then this top half needs painting, or the bottom half, I can't remember which, a different colour. But when you join these halves together, you end up with a seam line just there and two there. So I'm just kind of tickling those up a bit, so I'm repainting inside that area as well. And then when that's finished, that goes into there. But I'll get it all built up anyway, and I'll show you what I mean. With regards to the undercarriage leg, you assemble it with it in, and then you cut this tab off, this piece here, when you're ready to bring it back down again. So it's just to keep it out of the way basically. Okay, this is the front undercarriage leg. It's an extended part of the piston, if you like, or whatever they call that part. I've painted that silver. I never like painted silver. If I can get away with it, I'll make it out of metal. You get two legs in the kit, one for the compressed version with weight on, and then this is the one with the weight off, obviously. So what I've done, this is the other leg, and I've chopped that piece out, which was much shorter, and I've replaced it with a piece of aluminium. I just turned it down to the right width. In fact, it's a little bit slimmer, but I don't mind actually. The thing is, I've stuck these little tiny pieces here on this leg now, which aren't on there, and I don't have any more. So what I'll have to do is chop this one off, drill the hole and put this one on. So if you look at the components, that's the piece that I've replaced. So it's not a big deal. But what I'll do, I'll take it apart, drill it out, and then paint it, and then assemble that bit last. Sorry, it's all going out of focus, isn't it? Yeah, we'll assemble this bit last. Okay, after a few attempts, that's the undercarriage leg, as far as I'm concerned, done for now. The kit one's got actual pin marks on the actual the cylinder, which is annoying. But anyway, that's that done. Didn't have to do it, but I don't know. I might as well try it. I'll make sure that's straight actually. Oh yeah, right, so there we go. So that can go in here, like it fits in two little holes there and there. To go in. There we go. And when you want to, when it's built, when the models fit well, when you're in the position to put this down, you cut that tab off there, and then there's this little leg, this little pin here. That one there fits into that little hole there. So it's quite clever, really. It keeps that nicely out of the way while you're building the rest of the model, anyway. Right, so I can. I did actually weather this quite a bit, but I didn't like it. It just looks. It doesn't suit the model. I don't think it suits the model anyway. So I've repainted it a little bit, and I've left some of the panel liner behind, so it's subtle. But I want to keep it clean and white in there. So I could always add some more later if I want to. So I can now put this in here, and it just basically goes. There was some little. You were supposed to put that piece on after you put these on, but I didn't. So I just cut the little lugs off, if you like. So that just fits there like that. And that's a leg in place. So as I say, that'll come down when it needs to. So the next job now is to fit. Where's it gone? Now this bit. I've already painted it, but it's going to need painting again. I'll explain why in a minute. I'm just going to zoom out, so it's probably all out of focus this. I'm just going to fit that in its location, so it goes there like that. But you end up with a seam line there and there. And there's one at the back, subtle, but it's there. I don't like that. So I'm going to glue it in place, and I'm just going to give it a tickle up, and I'll repaint it. And when that's done, which colour is it? This part of the exhaust nozzly bit is a different colour. So that needs painting, and it's a mix XF2 plus 23 plus, I don't know, 28. It's a right bizarre colour. It's probably something really normal like steel grey or something, but Tamiya seem to like mixing colours together to save having to make another colour of paint, I suppose. So yeah, I'll get that assembled, get this painted, and I think then we can put this bit in here, which is where I want to go. No, I can't actually. This has got to go on. So yeah, back in a bit. Okay, I've gone to a great deal of effort to paint this unit in the appropriate weird colours that it is. It's like freaky green colour. But you can't see this at all when it's in the model. But hey, I followed the instructions as you do. So this bit can go in now. That goes in there, this fan unit. Like so. And that kind of locks all that lot together. Like so. And from the underneath you can see that part. Yeah, but this bit, I don't think you can see it. I'll put it in there and we'll have a look. Alright. this unit now fits into the top, no, the bottom of the fuselage nose. It fits in those two little lugs there. And that bit there, and that bit at the front. Again, it all fits really, really well. There we go, it's clicked in now. So there we go, that's the completed nose. So we'll zoom out a bit more. So that bit, when I glued it in, of course, can go into this bit. But we've also got these units. I've just painted these up. Again, this is a mix, another mix. It's grey mixed with a tiny bit of brown in it. I think that's the basic colour of the aircraft actually. They need gluing together. I've just clipped that one together. That clips onto there, and then it goes onto the side of the nose like that. So I'll get those in place and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, these units just glued like that, just on there like that. So I'm using Sino to do this because I didn't want to get any glue on the outer faces at all. Hold that for a little bit. Okay, one final part to fit is this thing, which is the front of the engine, I guess, you know, from the intake side, and that goes in there and connects to that hole there. It does go a certain way because it's these little lugs fit like that. Now it calls to paint that two different colours, blah blah blah, but you can't see it at all when you look down those intakes down there. It doesn't matter what angle you look at them from, you will never ever see that piece of plastic ever again. So I'm going to put it in, but I'm not going to paint it because I've painted so much bits on this model now that you can't see. But I don't want to do that anymore because I don't see the point. So again, just sign everything together. Get used to this because the way that model making's going, you're going to start seeing a lot more resin kits coming on market, and resin you've got to glue it together with Sino anyway. So yeah, right, that bit can now go into one of these bits. That goes into the top of the fuselage. I think I've got to paint some little bits first. I think these parts here need to be painted a certain colour. I think also the case with these as well, so I need to check that before I install it. Right, okay, this bit that you can't see, that I didn't paint, you can see it when it's, you can see it through there. So I've managed to get it off and I've painted it, and I'll put it back on again now. Okay, what I'm doing now, I'm going around all the seams where they meet, where I'm cleaning all the overspray off, because I want to get a good bond there. I'm going to use conventional extra thin when the time comes, and it's definitely better if there's no paint on there. So a bit of isopropyl alcohol or IPA. No, it's not Indian Pale Ale like everybody seems to think is really funny. So go around all the seams, same on that piece, and we'll be back. Okay, to glue this beast in, 2 points, so there's a few points of contact, 2 little pins there, that little bit there, and a bit there, and a bit there. That's all you need. Just touch that pin there, those 2 lugs there, and these faces, and that's all I want to do at the moment. I'll just hold it. They do fit very, very well, so it's just a case of holding that in place just for a few minutes. I'll be back in a minute. Yeah, that's in place. I need to go around all the seam now. I'm going to use extra thin for this, just be careful with it. I'll try anyway. And just hold it until it goes off. Take a bit of time to get this right, but it needs to be a sharp edge, does this thing. So needs a bit of patience. Again, the paint's going to need touching up quite a lot actually. So that's alright. I don't know if this is actually getting right in, I should do. I'll be back when I've done all this bit. Okay, that's in now. It needs cleaning up a little bit, but I'm quite happy with that. Now we can actually assemble the rest of it. So it's just a case of, it just drops on. It's just poof, perfect. I just need to go around and basically glue up every seam, and then I'll do that and I'll be back. The last stage now is to fit these covers, and they go there like that. And if you look further down the line in the instructions, there's a blanking plate that fits. I think it's the way up actually. Goes just there, like that. There's no reason why that can't go in now as well. So I can get those two fitted. I've done this side. Obviously that needs weathering to match the rest of the aircraft, but I can do that at a later stage. So I'm just get those fitted. I'm back in a minute. Right, okay, that's the final parts fitted, plus a couple of little additional bits. That concludes that section completely now. I'm very impressed with it. Gotta say, it's quite a chunk of plastic now once it's all built up and stuff. It's quite a substantial thing. Now we can move on to page, because we're doing the vertical landing version. Move on to this section, which is basically all the vertical landing stuff, plus other things of course. So the next video I was going to start off with building the engine nozzle arrangement at the back here, which is quite a lot of nice bits of detail and stuff to be painted and things like that. Lots of covers and things. Now during that build, obviously at this point you could paint the model, I think. I'll certainly paint some of it. So I'm going to analyse that situation when I'm next, I think. So there's no reason why you can't start painting it, because you can't paint it once all the covers and stuff have started being installed, which is what it's describing now. It's describing, you know, putting all the internal parts of the covers on, and each part's got its own specific colour and stuff that shows fitting. But you don't want to be fitting these covers once the model's not painted. So I'm very much considering painting it now at this stage. Make sure it's all tidy and clean and everything first, and I'll look at that. But yeah, next video, which will be video number 4, I think, we'll be starting off on this section here. So yeah, very impressed. It's an actual engineering genius is this kit so far. See you on the next one.